Hello everyone, my name is Edeilson, and one of the things that I really love to do in my free time is to ride a bike. The contact with nature makes me feel relaxed and happy. And now, I would like to invite you to come ride with me. So, let's go! Stopping here for a while to rest, I decided to show you this beautiful landscape that I found on the way and ask you, what do you see? What catches your attention the most? You probably answered that the first thing you saw that caught your attention were the animals. They are really beautiful. But if you look closer, you will see that there are several plant species in this place. They are also beautiful. But still, when I asked you what caught your attention the most in this landscape, you probably said animals. The chances of you have said plants or vegetables are very small. Let's talk more about this along the way. Often, people simply put plants aside as if their only function were to serve as a background for animals, neglecting the presence and importance of plants in the environment and in society. So, if you think that animals are more important than plants, or if plants don't get your attention very much, you have just shown symptoms what we call plant blindness. But what plant blindness is? Let's look it up together to see if we can find something that can help us answer that question and overcome this problem. The term plant blindness was created in 1999 to describe the inability that the people have to recognize and notice the presence and importance of plants in everyday life. Another example of this phenomenon is that here in the Caatinga, one of the listed studied biomes in Brazil, many people don't care about the beauty and importance of the plants in that place. Most likely because the stereotypes, the situation directly implying conservation strategies. Neglecting plants can cause several consequences. One of them is not caring about the destruction of natural environments and not recognizing the importance of plants for all types of life. I'm here at a grocery store in my town to show you another example of plant blindness. What do you think about when you go to the supermarket to buy some foods like coffee, beans, cornflakes, rice, etc.? I think first of the price, because it is very expensive. Jesus. I also think about the food I will make when I get home. A plate of rice and beans, a hot couscous, a typical northeastern food made with cornflakes. I love it. But nobody remembers that these foods came from plants. Rice, coffee, beans, corn, and almost all the food we eat comes from plants. Many of these foods even have pictures of their plants on the packaging, but almost nobody pays attention to them. But where does this inability of society to give real importance to plants come from? There are some reasons for plant blindness. One of them comes from neurophysiology. Our brain, during evolution, was trained to better perceive things that move, threatening creatures, color patterns. Plants cannot move, at least not like most animals. Plants also offer no direct dangers to us. Therefore, in a natural environment, animals end up catching our attention more than plants do. Another factor that we must consider is the cultural aspect. With the growth of urban centers, the people who live in these places have almost no direct contact with plants. Sometimes this contact is minimal. The social distancing between humans and plants has contributed to increasing plant blindness. All the public squares and parks that I know have plants. They make the place more beautiful and pleasurable. It seems almost impossible to ignore the aesthetic importance of plants in this kind of environment. But the importance of plants goes beyond the aesthetic aspects. But is there any way to overcome plant blindness and make people give more value to plants and recognize how fundamental they are to our survival? How to neglect less and value plants more? One of the ways to overcome plant blindness is to invest in the improvement of botany teaching, invest in the new tools for teaching and learning process, and adding botanical content more closely to the reality of the students in schools. Another way is to spread information about plants on social media and TV shows. The government actions, the projects developed by institutions and universities are good ways to make the people stop neglecting the importance of plants. Our daily life is full of plants. Our food is almost entirely composed of plants. Even the meat we eat comes from some animal that feed on plants. Simple stuff of our everyday life, such as clothes, furniture, books, medicines, among other things, are mostly made from plant resources. Brazilian culture is full of plants. They are in the typical foods and popular myths in the public squares and the gardens in the streets, inside the houses. Besides, the traditional communities, such as the indigenous people, have a very close relationship with plants and nature. Plants are also important for the environment. They provide oxygen through photosynthesis, are the basis of the food chain of living things, and serve as habitat for other living organisms. Plant diversity is fantastic. Its countless characteristics such as function, size, shape, color, lifestyle, reproductive strategies, adaptations to the environment, among other, make these living organisms wonderful and essential. It is worth pointing out that our country, Brazil, is the country with the largest plant biodiversity in the world, and all this diversity needs to be preserved and recovered. Just like the Caatinga biome, exclusive to Brazil, it needs to be more well studied so that its biodiversity can be known and preserved. Aiming to our generation and the next one suffer less and have more quality of life. So there are several reasons to look at plants in a different way, realizing how important they are to us and that they deserve to be valued. And before you go around think that plants are boring or not very attractive, remember, you won't exist because plants exist.